the other part of the question. Why does Sojourner Truth repeat it? And this time you don't have to raise your hands. You're going to make a point. Anyone else who wants to jump in and add to it or disagree or explain, you just wait till no one is speaking and then say what you have to say. So that's why you needed your notes. Why, and we'll have one person who will start us off, and then you all will talk and I will just step back, okay? Why does she repeat it?
I think she repeats it because this is the topic of her speech and she doesn't want the audience to lose focus.
I think she repeats it not only for emphasis, but I think that her point in saying it in the first place was to basically abolish all the standards that men and everybody else have put upon women. And they say that women can't do this and women have to be helped doing this and blah, blah, blah. But she's saying, I can do all this work. I can plow. I can do probably more work than you can. And you're sitting here telling me that I can't do something and that I have to be helped into carriages. She says, ain't I a woman? And she's breaking their standards. I'm a woman and I'm doing things that you said I couldn't do. So you must be wrong.
I think she's actually repeating it for the audience to think to themselves, well, why does she keep repeating it? And like we said, she's not repeating it for answers. She's repeating it because it's a deeper meaning to that question.
Well, I agree with Taylor and Shamaya. The reason why she keeps repeating "Ain't I a woman," but I think it's also because she wants to make the audience think. Like, here she says she can do many things, and she keeps repeating the phrase "Ain't I a woman." We're clearly aware of that you are a woman and a lady, but yet you can do all these things that the average woman may not be able to do.
I think she asked "Ain't I a woman" also because she wants the people in the audience, maybe if they've never had the thought of like they can be equal to men, she wants them to have that perspective in their mind that they can be equal as she is or she's trying to portray herself as. So I think the purpose is like to show them that she can do it. If anyone else can do it, if she can do it as well.
I think that she was trying to change the audience's mentality. The people in the audience were so used to being pampered and treated all helplessly and stuff, where she had to do everything on her own. So I guess she's trying to make them seem like she's trying to say, oh, you can't do it, I can do it. So they're gonna be like, oh, I can do it too. So
it was a feminist convention. So they already felt like that. But I see what you mean though. Just saying that I see.
To break what they're used to,
right.
So they can.
I agree with Taylor, and I think that she was really saying "Ain't I a woman," but it meant different things. Like she wasn't just asking "Ain't I a woman?" She was trying to break all the standards, like Taylor said. She was saying that I'm a woman, but I can eat all this, and I can work this way, and I can do all this. But then she says, I'm a woman, and how come nobody ever helps me into carriages or over mud puddles? She's saying like I can do all this stuff, but if I'm a woman, if I'm dainty and lady, how come nobody ever did this stuff for me or didn't do that for me? How come if I'm a woman, I was treated differently than all the rest of the women?
I think she's trying to express the contradiction, this main contradiction in the speech. I really don't think she's speaking for herself, but for the variety of African American women during this time. And a quote that she says, she points out the man over there, which is probably in the crowd. He says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and to have the best place everywhere. And she expresses this contradiction by stating, nobody ever helps me into carriages or over mud puddles. So that's what she's doing. She's speaking for the black women.
I was gonna say that too. I think she was trying to bring up like the contradiction of what society was going on in society, because she said like as I was saying before, there was a certain definition of what a woman was supposed to be or how they're supposed to act, or and so basically she didn't have all that. She was basically, as a slave, she was like, she had the title of a man and she did the work of a man. So basically it brings up like how their philosophies contradict each other, because they say a woman is supposed to be feminine and this and that, but she was playing the role of a male.
Also, with that, women should be all this. She isn't expressing a specific type of woman. She's saying women, period. So, just with that contradiction, it should be fair for all races of women during this time.
And I think that she says this for respect because, like, as Maya said, that she's talking to these women that gets helped over mud puddles and lifted up to carriages and stuff and she's asking the question, ain't I a woman? Don't I deserve this respect too? And don't I deserve to get helped? And don't I deserve all this stuff?
I think she was
What did you? Can you repeat what you just said? You said that she wasn't
isn't
speaking.
explaining a specific type of woman. She's saying women.
I think she is because she's talking about shouldn't I get helped over carriages and blah. She's referring to white women. So I think this is addressing. Well, it's addressing white women. I mean, it's addressing men, I guess. But I think it's about white. I think it's about how black women should be treated like the white women. I think she.
I disagree.
I think it was just like I said before. I think that there were standards, and I think by saying that the same people who said that the white women should be helped in the carriages and digging ditches are the same people who said that women can't work as hard as she does. And so if they're the same people who said that, and they're the same people who said that women can't have rights, and she's proven that other standards wrong, so that means the women should have rights.
I don't think she was there just for the rights of African Americans or African American women. I think what she was trying to say is that all these, how women are being helped is basically a crutch for them not to be able to do on their own and do for themselves. I think she was there for everybody as a whole, all women, black, white, whatever you are, to be able to do for themselves and not be looked at as little as like being less than a man, that you can do equally as anybody else. And she was not only there for herself, she was there for every woman, not for only African American women.
Well, I kind of agree with what Naya said. I think that she was trying to, like, she was trying to stand up for women who were known as less, because she was like that little man over there said that women can't have as much rights as men because Christ wasn't a woman. So she's referring to any women that men have told are less than them or are weaker than them or can't do as much as them. She's saying that you can because of this. You can because I can. You can because of all these facts that she stated in the text. But I don't think she's necessarily like, I don't know. I don't think she ever said there was a bad thing about being helped over ditches. I don't think she ever meant that, like, she shouldn't have a man's help. I just think that she didn't want to be considered less than a man. She wanted to be equal with men. She didn't necessarily want to be more or less. She wanted to be just equal.
Let's just kind of look at the thoughts that you all have come up with. Really great thoughts. And you started out talking about feminism. Then you started talking about rights of African Americans, so human rights, civil rights. And then you ended up saying maybe she was just talking about the rights of all people, all women. So just take a few minutes and write down your ideas, bring everything to a close, just maybe a couple of sentences to kind of close out why you think she continued to repeat. Maybe you've changed your minds, maybe you haven't, but maybe you heard something today that caught your interest. Same, just drop down a line or two and just bring closure, and we'll pick it up again tomorrow and finish it.